The data you will be shown today comes from a variety of assessments that were given to Chase in the classroom to assess his knowledge and skills in the areas of fluency, phonics, vocabulary, and comprehension. This data was collected recently to ensure that it is updated and expresses Chase's current abilities in each of the areas in order to allow us to best meet his needs and play off of his strengths in the classroom. The first set of data that I'm showing you here comes from the Individual Reading Inventory, or the IRI, which is an assessment that is designed to help educators determine a student's instructional needs. The specific IRI that was administered in this case was the Qualitative Reading Inventory 6. This portion of the test contained word lists that assesses the accuracy of students' word identification of high-frequency words in multiple levels. It also assesses speed and automaticity of word identification. Ultimately, this can be used to assess phonics instruction. When we look at this chart, we can see that I administered this test to Chase starting at the pre-primer level 1 and went all the way up to the level 5 word list. Chase recognized the words from pre-primer 1, 2, and 3, primer, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at an independent level, which means he had 90 to 100% accuracy when recognizing the words from these lists. The level 4 list is where we started to see Chase go into the instructional level, where he scored 80%, which is the 70 to 85% accuracy that entails the level to be instructional. This means that these high-frequency words that we might see in a level 4 reading may be ones that Chase is unfamiliar with, or that is our ideal spot for furthering his instruction. Chase was also given the level 5 list, and here we found that what we call his frustration level, recognizing that below 70% of the words, or a 50% in this case, were miscued. In the oral reading passages that were given to Chase in the IRI, he also maintained high levels of word recognition with 100% in levels primer 1 and 2. He reached the instructional level in level 3 and level 4, having 7 miscues in each, or 7 mistakes. Although Chase did have some miscues, they were not considered to be meaning-changing miscues. We also analyzed Chase's phonics with 2 other measures, a spelling test and on another computer application called iReady. Chase scored an 89% on a recent spelling test, indicating that he is very familiar with the spelling patterns that we were assessing at that time. Chase has actually tested out of the phonics section in iReady, indicating that he is likely to already know the skills that are being tested in phonics at a 3rd grade level according to iReady, meaning that they will not actively test him in this domain. Overall, when it comes to phonics, Chase is on grade level and doing what he needs to be doing at this moment to have success in this area of reading. We will continue to assess phonics as the year goes on using similar measures. Each week, we also look at a new set of words with different sound patterns that are words that go into our spelling test. Chase is very familiar with many of the spelling patterns and sound patterns that he needs to be successfully and accurately recognizing words in texts that are focused at his grade level. Next, we will take a look at Chase's fluency. This is also something that we assessed on the IRI. One part of fluency is the measure of automaticity, or the quick pace and effortless recognition of words while reading. Chase was encouraged to read naturally and in a way that he would still be able to answer questions about the text and comprehend it. In Chase's Level 3 oral reading passage, he read 104 words per minute, with 102 of them being accurate. This is a good rate for Chase to be reading, and it shows that he is on grade level in automaticity when reading a grade level text. With 7 miscues total in this reading, he is labeled as instructional according to the IRI. Accuracy is another measure of fluency. When fluency was measured using another text during a different assessment, Chase read 77 out of the 79 words from the passage correctly in 1 minute. Fluency is something that we work on every day in the classroom in both whole group and small group instruction. It is also heavily modeled by the teachers in the classroom. This is something that we will also continue to work on daily using reading techniques such as choral reading and whisper reading, with the administration of smaller assessments such as running records. Chase is currently on grade level for fluency and can accurately and efficiently read a leveled text presented to him. Another part of fluency is what we call prosody, or the measure of how we use patterns, stress, and annotations in language. including a natural rhythm and sound. When Chase was reading the Level 3 oral reading passage, I rated him at a Level 3 on the oral reading prosody scale out of 4, meaning that he read mostly in 3 or 4 word phrase groups with little expressive interpretation present in his reading. Prosody is something specific that we'll be working on with Chase to improve his fluency. The ability to give expression while reading can be very important, and at times the punctuation that helps us notice this prosody can be just as important to the comprehension of a text as the words themselves. We will work on this with Chase by modeling it to him and giving him engaging opportunities with activities such as reader's theater, which requires the student to read a script as a character. We will also continue to assess Chase's fluency in the aspects of rate, automaticity, and prosody, ensuring that he will be ready to enter the 4th grade with the appropriate skills. By the end of the next 9-week period, our goal would be for Chase to be more of a Level 4 on the oral reading prosody scale, meaning that he reads in larger and more meaningful phrase groups with more of the story read with expression. Vocabulary is something that we work on every day as well. Our 2 main measures of Chase's vocabulary are what we are looking at today in his vocabulary test average score and his iReady vocabulary measurement. Chase has an 87 average on his vocabulary tests. When we look at his vocabulary portion of iReady, we see he was rated as an early 3. This indicates that Chase is on grade level but may need to improve in this area to be fully proficient by the end of the year. This is not necessarily a negative thing, and we're still progressing through the school year, but it is something for us to keep an eye on and to make sure that he's progressing at a rate that ensures that he will be entering 4th grade on grade level as well. With the combination of his test scores and iReady scores, Chase can successfully continue on the path that he is on. Something that we do in the classroom weekly is analyze a new set of vocabulary words that follow a pattern. We break these words down and examine their definitions, what they look like in context, and make up hand motions with the students to help them remember the words. Chase is always very active in these activities. We will also continue to provide authentic texts for students to read that are rich in vocabulary, and that give them strategies to identify and try to find meanings of these words in the texts. One more way that we can work with students on vocabulary is by modeling strong vocabulary words in daily conversation that they can use themselves. This is something that can be done at home as well. This shows vocabulary words in context and makes them more accessible to students. We hope that by the end of the next 9 weeks, Chase will be on the track to be leveled late 3 on iReady vocabulary and have close to a 93 average on his vocabulary test while continuing to implement these things in the classroom. Lastly, we will examine Chase's comprehension skills. This is something we have measured using the IRI, iReady, and a cold read. For comprehension, Chase is at an instructional level for most grade level text, and we can see this through our variety of data sources. On iReady, Chase was rated an early 3 in both literature comprehension and informational comprehension. This means that he has not yet mastered the comprehension skills offered by the leveled lessons in iReady. When his comprehension was assessed using the cold read passage in class, Chase received an 86% or a B. In the data collected from the IRI, Chase was rated on the instructional level as well. Even though he has 97% accuracy with word recognition in the Level 3 text, he received a 75% on the comprehension questions assigned to his passage, and this was with the ability to look back in the text to find the answers. There are always other factors to consider, such as testing environment and pressure to succeed, that can be factored into this as well. But across all boards, Chase is at an instructional level for comprehension, meaning that this is something that we will continue to work on every day through specific instruction, scaffolding, and continued modeling of strategies during think-alouds. Comprehension requires a combination of all of the other skill facets that we have talked about today, such as phonics, vocabulary, and fluency. This means that with the improvement of those other skills, comprehension should improve as well. By the end of this 9 weeks, we hope that the focus on specific comprehension strategies, such as summarization or sequencing, will help Chase to be able to increase his comprehension. Another part of this is analyzing the wording of questions, and we will also be working with the whole class to make sure that we understand what key words to look for and what the question is asking us, as well as making sure that we always go back in the text if possible to find our evidence before moving forward. Of course, our ultimate goal is for Chase to make the jump of learning to read to reading to learn, as he prepares to enter 4th grade. With the instructional goals that we set through this analyzing of data, Chase is on the path to be versed in each of these skills. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please let me know.